This past year, we've looked at a ton of clip and cuff style earbuds, and today we're going to look at 18 of the best, starting from the least best to the best. Quick, Rowan, for the viewers, what are clip or cuff style earbuds?
So Kevin, clip or cuff style earbuds are basically open earbuds. So there's nothing that goes inside your ear canal that helps you stay comfortable, and if it's warm, it's nice. And you're also aware of your surroundings, but they have a very definite look to them. It's almost like clip-on earrings a little bit. And the last thing about them is sound-wise, they are never quite gonna match the consistency of in-ears or over-ears.
All right, starting with the first on the list, the Soundcore C40i. They are slightly older, but they've come with a ton of pros. The battery life is really good. They got button controls at the back of the buds, but they're not that great for calls. Another con is the price point. It's a little bit on the higher end. Comfort is a mixed bag, and they're really made out of this tough plastic material.
Right. The next one on the list is a brand new one as opposed to the previous one, OpenRock E. It's a budget option, so don't expect too much. The price is, of course, a great selling point. They're quite comfortable at the end of the day, but they lack one important feature in modern day earbuds, which is multi-point. They can only stay connected to one device at a time.
Then we got one from Edifier, the R1. It is feature rich. The pros are that, the sound quality is really good. The battery life is insane. There are a ton of extras like a wear sensor and multi-point, but where it does let us down is in the cheap design. They are a little bit bulky on the ear, and there's not a ton of bass.
Then you have the Budget King Tozo open earring here with a slightly older model, but these are a complete no-nonsense package. Very well priced. Calls are surprisingly good for the price. The design is also fine. Again, just like the OpenRock E, no multi-point here.
The Moondrop pill. We like to call them the audiophile clips. They have a nice balanced sound signature. The price is nice. And as we've come to expect from Moondrop, they are sound focused. They got multi-point. A couple of cons are that they are touch controls and they have a bit of a challenging case design.
And again, a brand new one that just dropped before we published this video is the Skullcandy Push 720 Open. Again, it's all about the design at Skullcandy, a unique look, that ring in the case. It's a pouch as opposed to a hard case, which I haven't seen before.
We've never seen this before.
And it's a pouch with a USB-C port and wireless charging. It's a funky design, of course, very V-shaped, bright sound. The treble is not necessarily my favorite. And of course, the Skullcandy branding is asking for a premium here price-wise. And the size, it won't fit in everyone's pocket.
No. The next one, the JLab Flex Open, is really the calls king. I mean, if you're looking for phone calls, this is a good pick. Apart from that, the price tag is acceptable. There's multi-point and there's good controls as well. The cons is going to be that we had mixed experiences in terms of comfort.
All right, we go to Soundpeats, the Pop Clip. Here you're living your button life. So these have button controls. We love button controls because that means they'll work irrespective of whether you have gloves on, or if your fingers are wet, etc. Comfortable, inexpensive, light. They've got multi-point. They've got game mode. However, the tested battery life in our testing was lower than advertised by Soundpeats, and in the wind, the calls didn't quite pan out. Overall, also we thought they had lower volume than many other buds.
Yeah. Then another one from Soundpeats, the Pearl Clip Pro. These are bass cannons. So a couple of pros here for these buds are that they are comfortable. They've got the most amount of bass compared to all the buds here on this list. Good amount of volume. So if you're hard of hearing, this is going to be great. And they're also quite inexpensive. A couple of downsides though is that we did face some connectivity issues, like when they were in the case, they were still connected, etc. Also, when we tested the battery life on these buds, they came out lower than the advertised numbers. So that's something to keep in mind. And the touch controls are not always reliable.
Now we have the QCY Cross Sky C30. This really punches above its price class. Now, it's got a few shiny elements, but no problem. It has multi-point. It sounds pretty decent for the price, more balanced than some of the other buds. It doesn't have as much bass extension, and I think on this list, it might just be the best value for money, but not necessarily the best product. We're counting up to that. In terms of downsides, there's no pairing button on the case. The touch controls were very finicky. They even got triggered with clothes or the back of my neck sometimes. Battery life is average and the calls were not great.
No. The next one is the Edifier Lolly Clip. And these are the extra of extras. I mean, they've got things that you could not imagine on clip-style buds, like a heart rate sensor, an SpO2 sensor. They do sound nice, sound-wise, so that's good.
They even have ANC.
Yeah. ANC in quotes, but they do remove a good chunk of HVAC sounds and that sort of thing. So it's not totally a gimmick. But we didn't quite like the price point. They are kind of expensive. They're also bulky on the ear, as well as the case design. The control scheme is also not very convenient, and the calls were just okay.
Yeah. The Baseus Bowie MC1 Pro is the all-rounder from Baseus. You're getting physical buttons, which we love, multi-point, low latency mode, solid battery life, 9 hours they advertise, and we got even more in our testing. You get a bass boost setting, and overall very nice, decent bass. The few downsides though are that phone calls are good as long as you only speak loudly, otherwise it tends to cut out your voice. And they do have LDAC, which is kind of nice, but you cannot use LDAC and multi-point together.
Yeah. And then the next one, the Earfun clip. We always say with Earfun, it's what's on the inside that counts. That's the Earfun experience. You're getting buttons here, which we love. Beautiful sound for open ears, and they're well tuned. And again, like we said, the Earfun experience it's not for the looks. So the look does look a bit basic. The speaker unit looks a bit big, and there are no major extras like wireless charging, etc.
Then we're coming to Baseus's premium experience, the XC1 with Sound by Bose branding. Now again, physical buttons, we love it. Multi-point, we love it. Low latency, again, good bass. What this has in addition to the MC1 Pro is spatial audio, but it also loses out on some aspects compared to the MC1 Pro, which is it's got worse battery life, slightly, not too much, and it is more expensive than the MC1 Pro. And phone calls are good as long as you speak loudly. The IP rating is also surprisingly better on the MC1 Pro.
Okay, another one from Soundcore, the Aero Clip. Now these are sleek and refined. We love the battery life. 8 hours advertised. We got 9 hours in our testing. They're comfortable to wear, and we dig the design. It's very sleek. It's also got multi-point. They're great for calls, and the sound signature is warm and has a rounded bass. What we didn't quite like was the limited touch control scheme and the price point. A little bit expensive.
Now the Shokz OpenRock one, despite all the buds on this table, is the one I always tend to reach for. I don't know why. It's compact, it's pocketable, it's sleek. It's got touch controls, but it's got 2 areas you can touch and customize, which is really nice. Super comfortable. It's one of the few buds here that has a wear sensor, which means if you remove them, they'll pause. They sound quite nice. More of a warm sound, I'd say, but really nice. And some of the best battery life on this list at 11 hours. Now the cons, of course, is the price is on the higher side. You're paying that Shokz premium. Not necessarily the best for calls, and the controls are touch, and they kind of have a learning curve because there's a touch on the barrel and touch on the back. So there's a pinch and a tap.
And speaking of expensive, the Bose Ultra Open. We'd give these the slogan most improved because they've released an update that fixed calls and added multi-point later on after release. And not only that, we love that they have button controls. You get them in 10 different color options. I don't think there's any other buds here that do that. Over 9 hours of battery life, and they sound good. The only downside is the price.
And then we're coming to the reigning king, the Huawei Free Clip. We'll talk about the successor to these buds shortly, but for me, they're still some of the most pocketable, most comfortable, the best calls. The battery is decent, some of the best design. It's just an all-round winner. I tested them again just to make sure I wasn't, having some bias over there, but absolutely some of the best buds still. Some of the downsides are the looks are a bit shiny. So it is a look if you're walking around office wearing these, people might be looking at what's happening, and they're not available everywhere. And of course, they are on the pricey side.
Yeah, that brings us to the end of this roundup.
So,
but the Huawei Free Clip 2.
Yeah, we are getting those in, so we will be testing them. So stay subscribed to this channel. Before I ask you for your pick, this video is not sponsored. This is just us reviewing the product. But thanks to you guys, especially our lovely patrons and YouTube members on the tested tier.
And a very big thanks to our highest tier. Thanks to Croxland, Rachel, Radspanda, and Paula on the Fachmann tier.
All right. Which one are you picking from these?
Oh, this is always a tough... I think I'm going to go... It's easy to say the reigning champion, just go for the top of the list, right? But no, I'm going to go with where I would put my money. I think they would put it at the MC1 Pro.
Yeah.
Nice. I think a good all-rounder, and I love the button controls. They're comfortable. Just tick a lot of boxes for me.
Right. Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, so I have a couple. If price were no object, I would say Shokz.
Okay.
Because that's the one I reach for. Naturally, I don't know. It just feels like comfortable to use.
Okay.
If I was more budget conscious, I would say the Earfun.
That's a good choice. Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
So this is just one of the lists we've done. If you want to check out the list of the best ANC headphones for the last 12 months, click here.
And if you want to see our roundup of best ANC earbuds under $200, click here.
Do it.